So when you were at J&J or you were at P&G and these big players, how did they ensure that their data storytelling resonated with the retailers and the buyers at those retailers, those must wins, to make sure that they were able to secure that shelf space?
Oh wow, so many ways. I think there's the easy answer, and then there's this longer, more institutional answer. The easy answer is number one, in both organizations, they always started with the consumer. I can tell you about so many times, and look, and I saw it. I had a closer look at it in J&J because I would say when I was at P&G, I was in sales, I was in the field. I didn't spend a lot of time in the internal organization. In the 13 years I was there, 10 were in the field, two internal, and then my last year I was working on a special project. I really grew up in J&J, went from manager to vice president, internal, external. So I got a chance to see how the machinery worked even more closely at J&J. But in both instances, they always rooted their innovation in what we were just talking about, a clear understanding of the consumer. And that in its own way requires data, right? It may not
Right.
be numbers all of the time. Sometimes it's qualitative data. It's data that's gleaned from focus groups. It's data that's gleaned from uh, feedback that comes from consumers through your customer service line. It is surveys, right? But then also it's the data associated with the development of the product, right? Testing the product to ensure that it does what it says, that it's as good as or better than what else is out there, right? But then it was how they pulled the story together to make it easy for us as salespeople to then go in and share that and explain that with the customer. And when I would say the difference in my time at P&G and J&J is I'll call it analog versus digital. Now, I
Mm.
started at P&G in 1988, and we would get our sales materials in the mail, and you'd get a binder every quarter that would lay out all the sales plans. And there was just reams of data and information, right, to go with what would later be the presentation. They made sure they armed you with every insight possible so that you could go in and sell that innovation. And then when I got to J&J, more digital, it was, 2001, more things coming us online. Again, no shortage of data and content and insight on the consumer, on the market, even on the customer, and how the customer was performing and how they matched up against the opportunity so that we could go and effectively sell. But at the end of the day, no matter what you provide, you have got to have some data about the consumer, their preference, their needs, and why this product is important to launch.